parlay, John.
Time to change the subject for just about 60 seconds.
Welcome to the Rat Hole. We are live. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are live in the Rat Hole with me, Paparazzo Dave Chapman, and we're going to be playing The Night Cage, Shrieking Hollow. Ooh, automatic. Can I? Zoom out. No. Out. Not in. Out. Fine, I'll do it manually. There. Is that what the problem is? All right. So, welcome. that was unexpected, but you know what isn't these days. I am, as I was saying, playing the Night Cage, Shrieking Hollow. I'm going to be using the DIzed app today. They are not sponsoring this at all, but I love them, so I use them whenever I can. And Smirk Dagger is one of the great companies that has basically all of their games on there. That makes it very easy to set up and learn new games. Let's bring in the app. I need to do. It's there. I need to turn that off. I need that. No, I need that. Where? Oh, there we go. So I'll click this. We're going to get a commercial is what we're going to get. I did go through the setup already for Shrieking Hollow using DIzed, but I am going to do it again. So we're going to start from the beginning, just so you can see the setup and hear the coolness.
Your content will be launching soon. DIzed Plus is now available. With DIzed Plus, you get an ad-free experience, full access to DIzed extras, player tools, and more. New content is added all the time, and playing board games has never been this much fun. Subscribe to DIzed Plus now, or get it as a gift for someone. More information available at getdized.com. It's time to...
All right, time to get DIzed. If I was just playing at home, I would skip the ad. I'm not going to skip the ad. For the first time, at the very least.
Welcome to the Night Cage, Shrieking Hollow expansion. Tap next on the bottom right to start.
I love the animations you got here. Check out the falling smoke.
You awake in the dark with nothing but a candle and, have you done this before? The déjà vu is less troubling than the change it implies. Was the ground always this unstable around you? When the tunnels crumbled into pits, did they always scream? And why does it feel like those screams are getting closer? Shrieking Hollow brings a new level of terror, with a new board to explore and new threats to face. Divide the pile into 4 roughly equal stacks and set them in a row. If you do not know how to play the base game, visit the Night Cage tutorial within the DIzed app. How many players are playing today?
One player.
Great. Let's start by setting up the game. Before adding all new components from the expansion, let's set up the standard base game first. Do you need a reminder on how to set up the base game?
So I've already gone ahead. I've set up the base game here. You can see I've got my guys. One major change, because it's easier on camera. My pieces are laying down. That's important. I've got this cable running in the way. There. No, it's still in the way. Sorry. Yes. Normally you would have them standing up. Having them laying down is very different, but it's a lot harder to see that. So when I go lights out, which is when you would normally lay your components down, I'm going to actually pick them up. So that's an important change to what's going on here. I'm not going to go through the setup of the base game.
Set up the standard base game as usual except for the tiles. Do not set up any tiles yet. You will do this in the next step.
I think I actually oopsed on the tiles. I think I actually have too many of them in here, but that's okay.
Gather 12 wax eaters, 4 starting tiles, 4 gates, and all the standard passages from the base game. Keep them separated to the side. Return the rest of the base game tiles to the box. You can leave the base game to the side. No other components will be used.
Yes, that's what it is. I've got all my regular keys, not the new keys. That's why I've got so many extras.
Give each prisoner their starting tiles. Leave the rest of the tiles separated to the side. They will be used later during setup.
All right.
Open the Shrieking Hollow expansion box and take all the components out.
Did that.
Note that this expansion introduces advanced components that will not be used in your first game. Leave the rulebook to the side. It won't be needed for this tutorial.
And that's what I love about DIzed. You don't need the rulebook.
Leave the 3-player aids to the side, they will be introduced later. This expansion adds 13 cracked passages to the base game, 8 cracked T passages and 5 cracked 4-way passages. You awake in the dark with typically now you would draw 10 tiles from the pile. However, just for this tutorial and until you learn a few rules first, draw 14 tiles instead of 10 and stack them to the side.
Knocking stuff down behind the scenes. Everything is falling down. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. Little, there we go. That'll make life a little bit easier. This table is not the ideal size for this game, being all sorts of long and narrow.
Add the 12 wax eaters you set to the side earlier from the base game to the pile and shuffle them again. Divide the pile into 4 roughly equal stacks and set them in a row. Shrieking Hollow introduces new key tiles called watched keys that operate differently from the base game. If you do not know how to play the base game, visit the Night Cage tutorial within the DIzed app. This expansion also introduces new tiles called shrieks. These tiles persist as obstacles within the maze. Add 1 shriek tile to each of the 4 piles face down. Also place 1 gate from the base game face down, on top of each pile. Shuffle the 2 remaining shriek tiles and 3 of the remaining watched key tiles together face down. The last key is only used in a 5-player game.
I've done all of this already over here. Shuffle. Why do I suddenly have no sound? This was working. Oh, I see what's going on. What the heck happened here? Sorry, folks. Something, my second. So I was only listening to the sound through my main computer here, not from where I was sending DIzed, and I'll accidentally somehow disconnected that. So give me a moment. There we go. Make the music a little bit louder as well.
The other is represented by 3 tiles. Each tile has a numeral in the bottom left corner. Stack the tiles according to the numerals, with the number 1 at the top. You can use either side.
I do love that they have two different versions of this to make it a little more accessible for certain people with visual impairments. It's a nice little touch that they've added to this.
Place the stacked tiles in the starting space at the bottom of the hollow board.
Done.
Lay the expansion discard board near the base game discard
Can't
board.
see that, but I've done that.
When a tile from the expansion is discarded, place it in the indicated space on the new discard board. Return the rest of the expansion components to the box. They are only used in the advanced game.
So all of those extra components are basically bosses. So you can actually play this game with different bosses, big bads, which makes it a lot more replayable than the average game.
Setup is now finished. Continue by placing your start tiles as in the base game. If you need a reminder, tap the appropriate button.
So I've already done that. I've placed those components. I tossed out, and I had actually drawn a regular key tile. So I've thrown that in the box and replaced it.
The major rules change in this expansion relates to pits. Falling or leaping into a pit on the main board now sends you into the hollow, where the other lies in wait. The other is one of the most terrifying monsters you will ever encounter. Its goal is to escape the hollow and attack the main board. When one pit is formed on a passage tile on the main board, the other advances towards the exit at the top of the hollow. If the prisoners are brave, they can leap into a pit where the light of their candles will hold its advance, temporarily. You should always consider holding the other at bay quickly by having one prisoner fall into a pit on turn 1. For the sake of this tutorial, we will have the first player drop into the hollow on their very first turn. If needed, the full game rules and FAQ are available on DIzed Rules, which you can easily access with the button on the top right corner.
Don't need to do that.
If needed, the full game rules and FAQ are available on DIzed Rules, which
Entering
first
the hollow.
player, choose to stay. After gaining a nerve and discarding a tile as usual, tap entering the hollow before flipping your tile.
Okay, I'm getting a nerve. Green is going to enter the hollow. By staying.
Typically, when a prisoner fell or leaped into a pit, they fell right back into the labyrinth. But not this time. This time you fall into the hollow, where the other lies in wait. Prisoners draw tiles and move in the hollow like they do on the main board. However, its shape is different. It wraps side to side, as the main board does, but not top to bottom as the top is an exit. Everything else works exactly as the main board with exactly the same rules as the base game. Now flip your tile to create a pit. Instead of placing your prisoner at the edge of the board, you will fall into the hollow. The other advances. Pits formed by start tiles do not advance the other. Only pits formed there.
What the heck? Why do I keep losing this? Oh, my apologies. I don't know why I keep getting disconnected. I seem to be having some internet issues. My apologies, everybody. I don't usually have this sort of an issue. Now, it might just be that I'm using DIzed on a laptop. As many of you know, I had a bunch of my equipment stolen. And unfortunately, that included some of my adapters for using apps. I may have to try this again another time. We'll try this one more time, though. There we go. Let's just...
Remember to remove unlit tiles before drawing new ones. Remove any unlit tiles left on the main board now.
And put these over on the thingy. The thingy, you know, the discard pile.
Upon entering the hollow, prisoners land in the lowest unoccupied row. Choose one of the 3 bottom spaces to land on.
You go on that middle one.
Draw a tile to land on, place your prisoner on it, and illuminate your surroundings exactly as in the base game.
Okay.
Now that there is a prisoner with a lit candle in the hollow, the other will not advance when a pit is formed in the main board. Note that usually the other does not advance when a candle is lit anywhere in the hollow, not just in the bottom row. There are, however, some events that make the other advance and smother the player in the hollow, even if they had a lit candle. We will learn about these later on in the tutorial. Note that usually the other does not advance when a candle is lit anywhere in the hollow, not just in the bottom row. There are several ways to leave the hollow, either by choice or by force. If you move up past the top row of the hollow or fall into a pit in the hollow, you return to the main board. You return exactly as in the base game by choosing an unlit, unoccupied tile and illuminating any passages. However, this is different from how pit jumping works in the base game. Prisoners don't get an extra move upon landing on the main board. There are more ways to leave the hollow. You will learn about them later in the tutorial. Soon prisoners will resume playing. When a pit is formed not on a starting tile, tap a pit is formed on the upcoming menu. When another prisoner falls into the hollow, tap entering the hollow. If at any point you draw a watched key tile or a shriek tile, even for discarding it, tap the appropriate button. Continue playing. When one of the following happens or you want to learn more, tap the appropriate button.
All right. So, number 2 is going to move 1 space down. This goes away because no longer illuminated. And that becomes a pit. I have to draw new tiles. Oh, this is no longer... I think this one went away as well because it was no longer illuminated. There and there. And then yellow is next. Yellow is going to go ahead and move. So this is no longer illuminated. This crumbled underneath me. Red moves here. That goes away. And I forgot to illuminate. This would have been illuminated here. And here. Let's switch this view for all y'all at home. There we go. Oh no. Easy wax meter. I'm in a relatively okay space. Wax meter's not going to hit anybody else. That key is going away. That was a standard key. There and there. All right, there we go. Now we've illuminated everything that was supposed to be illuminated. Back over to green. I'm gonna move up here. Those go away. Go away. Illuminate a watched key. We will check that in a moment. Remember those wrap around on the sides. Oh, I also forgot that these wrap around on the sides. There. All right. So we've now got a watched key. So let's take a look, see what that is. That's not the button I needed. I needed that one. Watched key was drawn.
Watched keys deliver keys to prisoners in the same way as standard key tiles do. However, entering a watched key tile anywhere immediately ejects all prisoners in the hollow back to the main board. This means that if a prisoner moves from a crumbling tile into a key tile, and a pit is formed on the main board, the other will advance since there won't be any prisoners in the hollow to stop it. It is important to know that this happens even if a prisoner cannot collect the key on the tile. After the active prisoner finishes lighting any tiles and resolving any effects, all other players land in turn order and reveal tiles following the base game rules. Note that all prisoners remain lit, and this is all considered part of the same turn. If needed, there is a reminder about watched keys on a player aid card. Continue playing. When one of the following happens or you want to learn more, tap the appropriate button.
All right, so next turn I'll be able to collect that key. Probably. Although it's going to be a while before I get a gate. If I want, I can move again. I'm not going to. Oh, wait. Yeah, the other doesn't move because of that. Right. Yeah, don't care. Blue moves, that goes away. That goes away. And you get a new one. Now it's yellow's turn. So yellow's got a wax eater here. So when it moves, it's going to activate and it's going to attack. But since I'm moving here, it'll do its thing. Nothing happens. It also goes away because it is no longer illuminated. So I do like that. Red. That goes away. This should also go away. And oh goody, another wax eater. I have to look up now whether or not the wax eater will hit this guy, because I think it doesn't because there's no path there. I think. And that's how I'm going to go with, I think. There's nothing connecting those two areas. And oops. Of course, there was another one. Lovely, lovely, lovely. What the hell? Oh, this is not, how you say good. Need to double check the rules on that. Actually, let's use the DIzed app for those rules. Going to do anything. Whatever. All right. Never mind. It's being glitchy, but I'm going to blame my internet for that. Monk Eaters. Yeah, so there's no line of sight on that, so they wouldn't hit that one. But the other two are going to do some seriously whooping. Ooh. I can move into the monster. After attacking a monster, I get into another space. There's no line of sight. Monster does turn into a pit, but I don't fall into it. Yeah. Problem with this is that it is going to cause a chain reaction no matter what I do. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. Sorry, folks. My brain is a little foggy today. It's just not a great day. The attack, falling on a monster, chain reactions. The monsters hit other monsters. Penalties. There we go. When a prisoner is struck by a wax eater attack, discard the top 3 tiles of the draw stack face up, and that prisoner goes lights out. When struck by a wax eater, the prisoner goes lights out. Flip your prisoner status card to lights out. With your candle extinguished, you can no longer perceive anything beyond the tile you occupy. Remove all tiles that you had been illuminating, unless they are still lit by a prisoner with a lit candle. Going lights out comes with these penalties. You are now panicked and compelled to move every turn. You may not stay. Without light, you move forward blind to the dangers ahead. You move, draw a tile only for the space you move into. As always, your new tile must be oriented so that it connects to your previous location. If you move on to a monster tile, the monster attacks immediately, hitting you and any other connected prisoners. You remain lights out, discard another 3 tiles, and immediately scramble onto another adjacent tile or a newly drawn one. Relighting. When a lights out prisoner becomes adjacent via connected passage to a prisoner with a lit candle, their candle is automatically relit. This may happen on either the prisoner's turn. When a prisoner is relit, the player whose turn it is draws the tile to fill the newly illuminated passages. Flip the status card to lit. All right. Things are about to get ugly. So, we will move, collect that key, and move somewhere on here. I think the safest place is gonna be here. Because that's gonna let me get some people in the way. These all go away. We're onto those discard piles. Now I'm going to have to worry about pits forming because the pit's about to form. Blue. No line of sight because that's blocked. Moves. This goes away. A shriek trial has been drawn. So let's switch back to this other view and see what... I lost it again. Please stand by. Thinking. There we go.
Shrieks are the heralds of the other. The first 2 shrieks drawn are placed like any other tile. But when the 3rd shriek is drawn, they call to the other. When this happens, the other advances even if there are prisoners with a lit candle in the hollow. Any prisoners in the hollow, even if they were not smothered, are ejected to the main board. Because of their endless screaming, the first 2 shrieks persist as obstacles within the maze even when not illuminated. While a shriek is present, prisoners can no longer move onto that space. However, shrieks do not block other monsters' attacks or interfere with any other monster's line of sight.
Oh no!
Or the shriek, while illuminating the main board, the hollow, or when discarding.
Oh no. All right, well, we're going to have to put it down here to avoid the line of sight. When do I draw the shriek on the main board?
When a shriek is drawn in the process of illuminating tiles on the main board, place it like any other tile.
Your content will be launching soon. DIzed Plus is now available. With DIzed Plus, you get an ad-free experience, full access to DIzed extras, play tools, and more. New content is added all the time, and playing board games has never been this much fun.
Remember, shrieks persist as obstacles even when unlit. Keep in mind that you draw a shriek tile to land on. It stays on the board and you scramble off onto an adjacent one or draw a new one. If needed, there is a reminder about shrieks on a player aid card. Continue playing. When a pit is formed on the main board or you want to learn more, tap the appropriate button.
So I drew a shriek here and I can't go there because I wanted to avoid this wax eater, and then I drew another wax eater. It's Blue's turn right now. I'm boned kind of no matter what I do. Just for the record. If I could spend a nerve. Charge through the monster. But that's going to just be a disaster. Yeah, I'm kind of boned. There's not much I can do here. The pit should have been forming here too.
When a pit is formed on the main board, the other advances. Unless there is a prisoner in the hollow with a lit candle.
Yeah, so this actually became a pit, and the other advanced. That's not great. I am so gonna lose this game. I'm totally gonna lose this game. Hey, Jim. Welcome. Yes, this is the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow. It is, in fact, a very cool game. Love the game. I've not played it with the Shrieking Hollow expansion before. I have played the Night Cage before. In fact, I've played it several times on the channel. You can scroll back and find it. And I've been using the DIzed app to walk me through the new components of the Shrieking Hollow expansion. You've tuned in time to watch me get my butt handed to me. Just to reiterate, all of these wax eaters are about to kick everybody's butt except for green. I'm kind of host. I have to charge, but I can't go through there. I basically have to sit on it and rotate. I have to spend my nerve, charge into this guy. He's going to attack, so I go lights out, and 3 tiles get discarded. 1, 2, 3. I'll sort those out later. One of them was a gate tile. Of course it was. Then, because of the movement, this guy attacks. 1, and there's a key. 2, 3. There's a second gate. This one also went lights out from the attack. This guy gets hit by an attack. 1, 2, 3. Goes lights out. Each of these guys also get hit a second time. 1. I just sent them. I just sent half the stack flying. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There was another key and another gate. So that's 3 of my gates already gone. And I just dumped a whole ton of tiles on the ground. Unfortunately, between that and the internet problems that I've been having, then you should get a candle. Yes. So how that would work, Jim, is I would have to move my guys adjacent to anyone still lit, which right now is only the green, and then they can get relit. If all 4 were to go oh no. You should have had 2 more things. I didn't illuminate those properly. To be perfectly honest, he probably would be dead. Yeah, they would have to move into the space adjacent to green to be able to do that. Now, in doing that, I'm going to get hit again at least 2 more times. Red is going to move. It'll get hit at least 1 more time. Yeah, basically I'm dead. I'm going to just end it here. I would like to not, but since I just spilled half of my tile pieces all over the other end of my thing, and I have been having some terrible luck with the internet, I'm going to end this stream here. Sorry about that, Jim. I know you just kind of just arrived just in time for me to bail on you. But that has been a brief look at the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow and the DIzed app demo for it. I appreciate everybody joining me, and I will probably try this game again down the road. And by down the road, I mean in the foreseeable future. Maybe later today, maybe not. Who knows? But until then, good gaming and goodbye.